Good day, lords and ladies, and welcome back to Age of Fear 2, the Chaos Lord, with me, Cornish-Knight, as we get back into the Let's Play. First things first, though, I wanted to say thank you for the developers for constantly improving and refining their titles. It's something I've noticed. They have really good feedback. They listen to the viewers. They listen to the fans. It's something I think is a high mark of skill on their part and of dedication. I just wanted to say thank you for their hard work. I also wanted to bring note to the fact that they have a really active modding scene, especially in Age of Fear 3, which I will be covering once I get around to it. I know there's some pretty big mods in the works from various individuals, and I look forward to covering them when they're released. I also would like at some point to do some recordings of the multiplayer. The multiplayer aspect is one thing I haven't been doing very much of, and that's something I really want to have a look at in the near future. Hopefully I can record it and show it to you guys and girls, well, you lords and ladies I should probably say. But I don't know, I mean, would you the viewers be interested in seeing multiplayer combat? There's supposed to be some really talented players of the Age of Fear series out there that I'd like to try and test myself against. But if you are, just leave a comment in the comment section below. But now back to the campaign. Time to make everyone proud, or at least make them laugh. Enjoyment as my guys get stomped. So what's that? Optional side missions, Ancient Crypt. Let's go with the demon one.
After a few days of traveling, the party wandered right into a demon trap. A loud voice bellowed from behind their party. "Did you think you could escape the conclave, lowly succubus?" It was Zarya Khan, the demon fiend. Kara turned to face him.
"Go back now, Yakan, lest you make me banish you and your ugly face from this realm."
Percival moved in front of Kara, facing Yakan with his sword unsheathed. "Leave here now, foul demon." Zarya Khan laughed haughtily. "You amuse me, pathetic human. However, I tire of talk, and I shall not spare your life either."
Okay, this is going to be interesting. This may be. I'm probably going to lose units in this fight. The reason being is that, judging from my current setup, most of my melee troops are going to be once the demonic melee troops get into combat, you lose a lot of control of them. So you have to play them very skillfully. So I might lose units in this fight, judging. Let's see what we've got to face against. Right. Communication. Parlay. Creative character development. I always do like these little things, they pop up. So let's have a look and see what we're facing. That is a lot. Yeah, okay. I'm probably going to lose units. Judging from the makeup of the enemy forces that we're facing, sorry, I'm still suffering from a cold. Judging from the enemy forces that we're facing, I'm probably going to use units. You lose units. God, what is happening to my post commentary today? So they've got a magma golem. Okay, so he can detonate. So he's basically he's a more threatening version of a goblin sapper. Okay, that's gonna suck. But they've got a lot of free health units. I'm gonna lose units. I'm gonna say this right now. I'm probably gonna lose my berserkers, because judging from this, yeah, I have a feeling that I'm going to. The main enemy fiend is charging up. They've got a lot of units, a lot of small units. And the problem with that is they've got a lot of imps as well. Yeah, I'm probably going to lose some units. This isn't going to be good. The thing is, that's a lot of units compared to the size of my force, and my force isn't particularly high level, so this is going to be interesting. What I do need to do first, though, is I do need to get rid of the Fiend. If the Fiend is allowed to stay around for any length of time, he is going to become a problem. So we've got to paralyze him. We've got to charge with my berserkers. I'll try and keep my berserkers alive if I can, but ooh, that's a bad miss. But the problem is, the issue that I've always had with berserkers, or to any unit that uses berserk as a skill, is once you get them into melee, like you'll see this berserker up here, you cannot get them out of melee, so they become massively more vulnerable to being terminated. It's one of the reasons I never liked the berserker armor, because berserker armor makes your heroes massively at risk of getting killed. So, and the golem had quite a high amount of resistance. So, but this is the reason I'm literally popping my potions now to try and get extra troops out, purely to do with the fact that I just don't have enough men. This is a lot of troops. If I allowed them all to gang up on my actual units, I'll lose people really quickly. So we'll kill off the Fiend. That was the main thing I was worried about. I will be back for you. What are these beasts? I've never seen them before. The Conclave Hunters. They want to capture me and throw me back into the void. Oh, lovely. All is clear now. Anything else to know about? Yeah, we get a lot of misses. The imps are very like 50-50. I don't know, the problem is that this battle is actually surprisingly more dangerous than it looks, due to the sheer amount of units.
Exactly.
You've got to remember that the AI is looking for the most effective way to actually kill my to kill my forces. So what will happen is that they will start to kill off weaker units, or they just gang up. They'll find a unit that's really useful to me and gang up on it and kill it, which is a very tactical thing to do and is useful because the AI knows that it doesn't have to worry about going into the next scenario. It will literally do the most tactically optimal thing it can do, which sucks for me because not only do I have to be the most tactical I can be, I also have to think economically and assume, well, what happens if I lose all my summoners that take time to build up. So it's one of these really risky things that he survived that. That's annoying. It's one of these really annoying things that I'm desperately trying to both win the battle, which is the really important bit, but at the same time be economical about it because I'm trying to save as many units as possible, which is where my dislike for Berserk comes in. I just don't like it. I find it massively dangerous for units because it reduces their life expectancy dramatically. They become yeah, you can see what I mean. The thing is that I can try and be as tactical as I want, but there's just so many enemy units on the board, that even if like only one of them out of 3 hit, they're still going to really kill my forces. So I have confidence that I'll win this battle, but I'm not going to get out of it without losing troops. And I can't pull any people back because all my melee units have Berserk. So it's one of these really nasty scenarios. Curses. That golem's going to explode as well. I have the feeling that that's what it's going to do. I mean, we're killing people, so we're reducing their morale, as you can see with the little icons that are popping up above his head, which is very nice, I must admit. That's something new that's been added by the developers to indicate when morale is damaged.
Try to stop me.
I do think it's a very nice feature. But yeah, I don't have any confidence of winning this battle without losing people, because judging from the amount of units they threw at you, you were going to lose people. If I'd gone a purely like melee-based force, I would have been in a really bad situation. He detonates. See, I lose the Berserker up there. I had a feeling I was going to lose him because there's just so many units, so many low-level units being thrown against me that they really have no issue. It's basically quantity versus quality, which is that my guys are relatively quite good, but they can just literally just spam multiple attacks. And even if it's only like a 25% chance to hit, if you've got a lot of units, you're going to hit eventually. This was going to be one of those battles that unless you had quite a lot of elite troops, you were always going to lose people, because just the sheer amount of enemies being chucked at you, and the fact is that you really had to focus fire on the enemy fiend, because if the enemy fiend got rolling, you were going to lose people by the ton. It's not like, oh, you weren't going to lose anyone, you were going to lose a lot of people. So it was one of those real things you had to get done, is that you had to kill the fiend, which means that you can't focus on the lesser enemies, which means that they gang up and start killing off your units, especially if they outnumber you. It's not an issue. I think this is one of these maps, I think it's important to have maps where even if you play at your best, you're going to lose units, because that's how life is. You can't, in real battles, there are very few real battles where someone comes out of it with no casualties, because that's unrealistic. I mean, it does happen from time to time if you surprise an enemy, or lay an ambush, or you just are, or the person in question has a much more higher grasp of tactical maneuvering. Like Sun Tzu, a very famous Chinese tactician and strategist, basically said that if you can outmaneuver your opponent, there's no need. If you understand how to maneuver, there's no need to actually fight your opponent. Is the gist of one of his main theories, is that if you can position your army in such a way that it's in a massively advantageous position, there's no need to fight. You can win a fight without actually having to fight it. But in a lot of situations where we're like this, which is basically an ambush situation, where I've been ambushed, you're going to lose people. So it should be how skillful you are at reducing the loss of your own forces. Now, my fault in this was that I had a lot of berserker units, which means that it's unfortunate, because berserker units, as I say, become extremely unreliable. It's one of the reasons I don't like them. I don't like berserker units as a rule, because I find they have a very low life expectancy. They get ganged up upon, and various bits and pieces I've already mentioned. If I probably, as soon as I can start actually getting reliable troops like summoned demons, or just troops that aren't berserked, I'll probably switch out the berserkers for something else. You probably also have noticed that the members of the dev team who I named all very quickly died. That tends to be a habit, unfortunately. Okay, that guy dies and runs off. We'll kill off that one. You can see their morale is starting to break now. Demons, I think, on average, actually have slightly tougher morale, so they don't... If this was like a goblin orc force, the goblins would have broken long ago. But demons have a lot stiffer morale, so it doesn't really help. Let's see, the most of them are running off. I mean, to be honest, they had a relatively nasty combination. They had something like 6 or 7 imps running around on the field, which is the equivalent of having 6 or 7 range, which is like having 6 or 7 archer units. So we are losing people. It was one of the reasons I spammed so many low-level summons, was to hopefully draw off their fire away from my actual units. But it didn't happen, unfortunately. We missed, that sucks. But you can see how dangerous imps can be. It's like death by 1,000 cuts. They they nibble away at enemy units' health. So as soon as I saw the amount of units we were facing, I thought we were going to lose people. If I'd had a bit better luck with some of my berserkers, I might have been able to save a couple of them, but I was pretty guaranteed we were going to lose at least half of our berserker force at best. I was pretty sure we were going to lose at least one berserker, probably two, judging from the fire golem, or magma golem, I should say. But yeah, I mean, it's not great. I lost about just under half of my force, which was a bit painful. But the developers have actually said that they're going to give the units you have, like the ones you get when you come to the Mortal Realm, they're going to have an XP boost, or at least additional XP, because obviously you don't have that additional. Unlike in the other campaigns where the units you get at the beginning stay with you throughout, you lose the units you get in the first two missions, which is actually a loss of XP, which in a game like this can be relatively unbalancing. So they have said that they will add... Ooh, Moon Key, that's interesting. They said that they would add... some additional XP to the units that you get at the beginning, just so that you're not so playing catch up, which is one of the things I did mention. I felt that the units that you had up until this point were relatively under-leveled, not by a lot, but by enough that it was becoming noticeable, which is never a fun thing, especially when the risk of falling into basically the XP trap is a pretty...
Afterward,
XP spiral, I should say.
The succubus, who had fallen during the battle. Sympathy turned her face gentle and loving as she spoke to this other succubus.
Why do you fight me, sister? Do you not wish to stay with me in the human realm for a while? They made me fight you, Belcara. I did not wish to join them. They threatened to banish me if I did not come to fight you. I understand. Would you stay with me here? It is much better than the life of servitude that the demon fiends force on us in the demon realm. Yes, I would like that very much.
Her gaze fell on Percival, who was watching interestedly.
What a handsome one. Could you find it in your generosity to share him with me?
Belcara's gaze also turned to the human. Percival displayed no emotion, and it was hard to know what he was thinking. She looked back at the other succubus and replied,
I like him very much. He is mine. But there are plenty of other strong, handsome men and loyal men you can play with here.
The other succubus crinkled her nose in disgust at the large pack of barbarians.
But they stink.
Kara merely smiled at the other demon and said,
Then wash them.
I always found it rather strange that the demons the succubi complained about harsh working conditions. Pardon me, about harsh working conditions, considering that they would do exactly the same thing in the other demon's place. Yeah, so we lost the barbarians, which was a pain. Which I don't know. We could have probably saved some of them. I doubt we would have been able to come out of that fight without losing anyone. Just the sheer amount of enemy units was quite overwhelming. But that's fine. There are some times where you need to have battles where you lose units. I'm one of these people that believe that you shouldn't always be able to get out of a fight without losing people. Because otherwise it's like, oh look, I've beaten another battle without losing anybody. Sometimes in war it's about reducing losses rather than avoiding losses entirely. Yeah, I'm either trying to get Fire Strike or literally get the next veteran level for the Evil Eyeballs. We still have Laszlo and Dennis, I believe, so that some of the developers are still alive. probably the developers at this point think it's a curse for me to start naming my characters after them. They always do. I mean, to be honest, that fight was just nasty. I'm not going to lie. It was a very. As soon as I saw the numbers, it was going to be one of those. It was going to be literally one of those nail-biting moments where, if you won or lost, was really heavily dependent on if you killed off their major units, which was going to be the Fiend and the Magma Golem. By the looks of it, the Succubi are annoying, but they're not actually a massive risk, and not unless they're higher level ones. But that Magma Golem looks nasty. I hope we get one of those. I know that we can start summoning fiends relatively soon, I think, judging from what the skills look like on the summoners. But if we want to do that, we'll probably have to start chucking loads of mana potions at them. Just because it's like, I think it's 6 mana to summon a fiend, which if we try and wait naturally for that to happen is going to be like 6 turns. Yeah, I mean, Succubi aren't really that impressive. Hellbats, I mean, they're not anything particularly fantastic. They have quite high, like, missile resistance, and they can break morale. So, actually, to be honest, looking at it, I might end up having to make them my main melee unit. Because I rather have melee units which I can control than have melee units which are powerful and I can't. I need to build up the windmill as well.
Now accompanied by a large group of orbs following them, traveled further into the woods. Percival ignored the creatures, but the barbarians were very nervous being shadowed by them. The next day, scouts came upon an ancient gateway. The forest nearby was surprisingly quiet, with not so much as a single bird to be heard. The warriors stood, peering into the seemingly endless darkness, and even Kara felt a cold shiver down her spine. The foul aura here would even terrify demons. "My lady, I doubt we have any business here," Percival said, breaking the silence. "I recognize the blackest magic of the forbidden art of necromancy. All good folk steer clear of the influence of such evil magic."
"I will ask your opinion when it is relevant. Leave the thinking to me."
But her voice lacked confidence.
"We shall rest now. Tomorrow morning I will decide whether to enter this crypt or leave."
After a night's sleep, Belcara roused the group.
"Get your big man pants on and ready your weapons. No mortal magic can scare a true demon."
The tribal warriors did not look pleased, but silently complied. Sir Percival was again amazed by their loyalty. The party entered through the gate, and after a few minutes of walking, they reached a wide chamber with a stone sarcophagus at its center. Luminous mushrooms on the walls provided a dim light. The floor of the chamber was full of bones and skulls, indicating that some serious fighting had taken place here a long time ago. Among the skeletons were scattered broken swords and arrows. The warriors moved carefully, trying not to tread on the dead. But their efforts were in vain, as the skeletons were already moving by themselves. At first, single bones vibrated. Then skulls began joining to remnants of spines. Dark forces were preparing themselves to fend off the intruders. The warriors, who were gathered into a tight group, began to panic. But nothing fazed Belcara.
"Are you afraid of these old bones?"
laughed the succubus, kicking the nearest skeleton and turning it to dust.
"These poor creatures cannot harm my mighty warriors."
Yeah, I wouldn't put money on that bet, lady. So let's see what we got. Mistress, we're seeking in this crypt. I am not your mistress. First of all, old crypts hold artifacts and secrets. Crypts can be dangerous. Do not interrupt me, chicken. Brains, so it's brains. You set up as well. Sorry, my lady, but we're not alone here. Okay, so we've got actually quite a lot of our people with us. And that's interesting. Let's see who we're... Oh, that's not a good sign. We're not actually facing that many people, and for so many of our own people to be here, yeah, this is going to get interesting. But we do have a lot of barbarians, so we can just chuck people at them. From my experience so far of the campaign, it really does look like the actual mortal forces you're given are much more like stopgap units until you can actually start summoning more powerful monstrous units like demons or Hydra. It'd be interesting to see what we get. If I can try and get my hands upon a Hydra or maybe a magma golem or something. Though I don't know if the magma golems come back after you detonate them, so that's something I'd have to think about, because there's no point having a really cool magma golem and then blowing it up and you don't get it back like you would with the sappers. But yeah, this is going to be like a... Judging from the fact... The problem is there's not actually that many undead, like serious threatening undead, and besides the abomination, so something else must happen from the looks of it. Plus there's actually like a crypt, like an astral sarcophagus, which means it's going to be something horrific. But as always, if you have liked, please press the like button. If you wish to subscribe, please press the subscription button. You can follow me on Twitter, you can follow me on Steam, or you can leave a comment in the comment section. As always, I really like this game a lot. I'd like to do some multiplayer of it actually. So if you guys are interested, leave a comment in the comment section below about doing multiplayer. But that may be something else for another time. I've been Cornish-Knight, this has been Age of Fear 2, and I shall see you all next time. Goodbye.